So just to start off with a simple question that we like to talk about and set up the problems around planning. Do you know how many people are actually involved in planning and budgeting in your organization? You know, is it 6 people? Is it 25 people? Well, in fact, pretty much every department in your company is involved with planning and budgeting. And the vast majority of planning and budgeting work is actually done outside of FP&A by line of business users. Next slide, please. And while that could be a good thing in that traditional wisdom says that more inputs can equal more accurate forecasts, the reality is often quite the opposite, in that these inputs from the various lines of business are often done via disconnected processes on spreadsheets. And there's a huge amount of inefficiency and general loss of productivity in the planning process when done this way. And in fact, these are some statistics that industry studies have shown that on average 20% of employees for at least 3 weeks are involved with the planning process, which can add up to 3% of a company's revenue or $1,000 per employee. So pretty inefficient. How can cloud help? If we go to the next slide. Well, gaining the input and intelligence of line of business managers becomes much more feasible with the cloud-based model that can be easily and flexibly rolled out across the organization. And several years ago, you know, we've been tracking among our own customer base and do various surveys of CFOs. A couple years ago when I started working with our cloud products, you know, we still saw reluctance in the finance department around adopting cloud applications, largely driven by security and data confidentiality concerns. But we've really seen a shift in the last several years, both within our own customer base, and this is a stat from the most recent Gartner FEI CFO technology study. And it showed that CFOs are increasingly buying into the SaaS model with predictions of during the next 4 years, 84% of CFOs believe that half their transactions will be delivered through a SaaS model. And this 84% is up from a 53% figure from last year's study. So pretty remarkable, rapid increase. And then if we move to the next slide, you know, diving into the performance management and planning and budgeting area that we're talking about today, we're also seeing rapid adoption, you know, within those functions. And in fact, almost 1 in 5 companies see themselves using SaaS for budgeting, planning, and forecasting processes. So if we shift now to the budgeting cloud service that we're rolling out, next slide. It's based on Hyperion planning, and as most of you are probably aware, you know,